Agreed.
Coming up, you could be getting your COVID-19 vaccine sooner than you planned.
And Boston's acting mayor made history. Her next plans on the way.
All that and more today, Wednesday, April 7th. Good morning, Emerson. I'm Amog Matthews.
And I'm Danielle Finezza. Thanks for waking up with us. We're going to go ahead and kick things off with our top stories for the day.
Awesome. So good news last week, folks. Since last week, President Joe Biden said every adult would be eligible to get the vaccine by April 29th. But yesterday, he announced that all adults would be eligible to get the vaccine instead by April 19th, the whole 10 days. The president also made it clear that Americans must continue to wear masks and social distance, especially those who are not yet vaccinated. So far, 150 million doses have been administered in Biden's first 75 days in office. His goal is to administer 200 million shots by his 100th day in office. The federal government is still ramping up efforts to beat this pandemic.
Mayor Kim Janey will run for a full term. Janey was sworn in just 2 weeks ago, becoming Boston's first Black and first female mayor. She announced her plans to join the city's 2021 mayoral race yesterday. Janey says she plans to tackle COVID-19 related challenges as well as racial and economic inequities here in Boston. Janey says, quote, "I understand these challenges because I have lived them." She's the 8th candidate to enter the race. Boston voters will choose their next mayor on November 2nd.
Some sad news in the Emerson community this morning. This last Monday, Robert Colby, the chair of the Performing Arts Department here at Emerson, died after his lengthy fight with cancer. He has been working at Emerson for 44 years. Robert Colby was an extremely distinguished director and professor. He has won many awards in education, in the theater, and in the arts. In fact, last year, Emerson named a new award, the Robert Colby Kindness Award, in his honor. According to Emerson College president, he was a deeply committed educator and served, quote, "brilliantly and bravely" as chair throughout his illness. The college is planning on holding a celebration of Colby's life and work sometime in the future.
2 were critically wounded in a Maryland shooting yesterday. A Navy medic shot the individuals at the Riverside Tech Park, then fled to Fort Detrick, a nearby Army base. Authorities say he was shot and killed there by base personnel. The 2 victims were flown to the hospital. Frederick Police Chief Jason Lando calls the shooting, quote, "very tragic," saying this is happening too frequently. The shooter's motive is unclear at this time. One victim remains in critical condition but stable, while the other is in serious condition but likely to be released today.
More updates as we continue to follow the COVID-19 pandemic. The highly contagious COVID-19 variant B.1.1.7, which was first identified in the UK, has now reached every state in the US. Experts are concerned about the potential spike in cases that this new variant can lead to. There have already been more than 15,000 cases reported, which have also contained higher death rates. Experts are telling the public to continue to maintain precautions as the race to get Americans vaccinated continues.
The U.S. may start sending vaccines overseas sooner than you think. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken announced preparations for this Monday. Global health experts say this is a crucial step in putting an end to the pandemic. The U.S. has received criticism for not distributing enough vaccines overseas. Blinken defends the focus on vaccinating Americans first, saying, quote, "We serve the American people first and foremost." Gail Smith will lead the State's Department's new global pandemic response. Smith previously worked as former President Barack Obama's head of U.S. Agency for International Development.
Last week, we were following the trial of Derek Chauvin for the murder of George Floyd and covering the investigation of Representative Matt Gaetz.
This morning, our political correspondent Madison Goldberg has the most recent information on these ongoing stories. Madison?
Thanks, you two. Maurice Hall, a friend of George Floyd who was in the car with him on the day of his death, appeared before Judge Peter Cahill on Tuesday morning. The Zoom appearance was to determine whether he will testify in the murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Hall's lawyer intends to cite the Fifth Amendment should he be called to testify, as some elements of his testimony could incriminate him. Public defender Adrian Cousins asked to stop his subpoena, as he would not answer the questions. Judge Cahill said there would be a future hearing on Hall's testimony, and Hall has requested that defense attorney Derek Nelson draft questions he would like for him to answer. Hall has been incarcerated since March 24th on unrelated domestic abuse and assault charges. And Georgia-based companies are condemning a new law recently passed by Governor Brian Kemp. The law, called 2B202, gives the power of county election boards to state-level officials, inherently allowing for the predominantly Republican state government to potentially disqualify Democratic-leaning voters in marginalized communities. The new law also criminalizes food and water being provided to voters waiting in line. It also requires identification for mail-in ballots and limits the amount of drop boxes placed throughout the state. In response to the law, Major League Baseball has moved its 2021 All-Stars game out of Atlanta. Delta Airlines, which is headquartered in Atlanta, also responded to the new law, with CEO Ed Bastian saying, quote, "The final bill is unacceptable and does not match Delta's values. The entire rationale for SB 202 was based on a lie, that there was widespread voter fraud in Georgia in the 2020 elections," end quote. And Republican Florida Representative Matt Gaetz recently came under fire for an alleged relationship with a 17-year-old girl. Now his former aides revealed to Politico that they sent embarrassing videos of him to other Republican operatives. The content of the videos remains unclear, though they are unrelated to the ongoing investigation into Gaetz' alleged violation of sex trafficking laws and relationship with a minor. Former President Donald Trump remains silent on the issue, despite Gaetz being one of his staunchest supporters while he was in office. And Governor Asa Hutchinson of Arkansas vetoed a bill, known as HB 1570, on Monday that would have made gender-affirming surgery for transgender minors illegal. This comes as a rare show of support for the transgender community from the Republican Party. Hutchinson said, quote, "I was told this week that the nation is looking at Arkansas because I have on my desk another bill passed by the General Assembly that is a product of the cultural war in America. I don't shy away from the battle when it is necessary and defensible, but the most recent action of the General Assembly, while well-intended, is off course." The state legislature could still override Hutchinson's veto of the bill, with Republicans holding the majority in both chambers and passing the bill last month. That's all from me this week. I'm Madison Goldberg. Back to you, Danielle and Amogue.
Thanks, Madison. Right now, anyone in Massachusetts over the age of 55 or those with at least one qualifying medical condition can get the COVID vaccine. But one vaccination site in Dorchester made a mistake and started vaccinating anybody over the age of 18 for a second day in a row. News of this, of course, spread its way around social media, and it was quickly shut down later in the day on Monday afternoon. Once people heard about it, people showed up at the site without an appointment too. The Boston Medical Center, who runs the site, issued a statement on Monday saying how the move was an error in the clinic's pre-registration process and that they plan to adhere to state guidelines on eligibility. On Tuesday, the same issue occurred, and lines wrapped around the site once again. Patients waited for their shots and said they were only asked some form of confirmation that they lived in Dorchester and no other identification or proof of eligibility. Congratulations to those that got lucky and got their COVID vaccine.
A Capitol Police veteran killed in the line of duty will lie in honor in the Capitol Rotunda. Massachusetts native William Evans was killed last week when a vehicle rammed into him and another officer just 100 yards from the Capitol. Evans will lie in honor next week, a tribute for the country's most distinguished private citizens. He served as a Capitol Police officer for 18 years. Capitol aides remember Evans as both friendly and professional. Senate Majority Leader Schumer and House Speaker Pelosi hope this tribute will provide comfort to his family and express the nation's gratitude for his service.
On Tuesday, Northeastern University announced that all students who plan on returning to campus for fall must get their COVID vaccine before the first day of classes. Students are required to show proof of full vaccination unless they have a religious or medical exemption. The university plans to return to full-time in-person learning by September. Massachusetts residents over the age of 16 will be eligible to get vaccinated starting April 16th. I imagine a lot of colleges will start requiring this.
A Weymouth hospital worker discovered a shipment of counterfeit face masks that could have put employees at risk. James O'Shaughnessy, manager of South Shore Medical, ordered 30,000 N95 masks. When they arrived, however, something about them seemed off. The label's placement on the packaging and its seal raised concerns as the details differed from previous orders. A representative from 3M, who produces N95 masks, confirmed these suspicions. The masks are now under investigation by the Department of Homeland Security.
COVID-19 has impacted the way students and teachers have approached education over the past year.
Our Boston News reporter Daniela Lobo Rivera spoke with students in Massachusetts about a potential change in testing requirements for the class of 2022 as a result of the pandemic.
The class of 2022 may not be required to take the MCAS. The Massachusetts Education Commissioner has proposed waiving the test for high school seniors.
For me specifically, as someone who was diagnosed with ADHD very young, it was never a good indicator, I felt, of where I was at as a student.
The Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System is an exam administered to students in state public schools. The MCAS became a requirement in 2003. Oliver Glass, a resident from Marblehead, says it does not measure a student's full capabilities.
I think the MCAS can be used as, a piece of what a student, of where a student's at. But I think it falls short in a lot of ways in determining how well a student is progressing through their education.
Cameron Manning, a resident from Wakefield, says the test can be challenging for students.
MCAS is good to a certain extent, but I just remember it being me considering it just a hassle to do when I was in middle school, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way.
The state has never let an entire class of students graduate without passing the MCAS. Both residents think the move is necessary amidst the COVID-19 pandemic.
This is not a time for kids to be taking the MCAS.
It's just a lot of pressure, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The MCAS testing exemption will require approval from the state's Board of Education. Glass is hopeful it will pass.
I think it's a good step in the right direction because I think it's a little bit of an archaic form of evaluation of students.
From Boston, Daniela Lobo Rivera. Good morning, Emerson.
When we come back, my man Joey Dubois has the latest and final March Madness results.
And the Red Sox are getting a memorable makeover this Patriots Day. Stick around.
All right, come back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera one. Camera one, get a wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take it. Tell them cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a shot of the players coming across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As
Camera
the
2
team
close on the
finishes
person
their
shooting.
timeout. Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson's hoping to pull away and score this big one.
Camera 1, get a close and follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson's hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
Hey, we're your roomies, your homies, your new living best.
We live here too.
Thanks. Liz! Do you have any idea what time it is?
It's time.
7. Oh. 7? It would mean a lot to me if you guys watch.
Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson.
We're going to pass it right over to Joey Dubois, who can at last tell you the winner of the March Madness tournament. How's your bracket looking after it's all said and done, Joey?
My bracket could have been better, guys, but we got one of the best tournaments ever, so I'm not complaining. And a historic finish to the tournament as the Baylor Bears are NCAA champions for the first time in program history. They started hot on Monday night and never looked back in a convincing 86-70 defeat over previously undefeated Gonzaga. Baylor had not even reached the title game since 1938, but they looked right at home on the game's biggest stage. Bears guard Jared Butler is the Final Four most outstanding player after scoring 22 points on Monday night. Baylor left no doubt who the best team is in the country, and we finally have a new champ for the first time in 2 years. Also this week, Major League Baseball announced the move of its All-Star game away from Atlanta this summer. The announcement follows the passage of sweeping changes to the state of Georgia's voting laws, including harsher limits on voting by mail. Instead of Atlanta, this year's Midsummer Classic will take place at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. MLB awarded the Rockies the event because they were already in the bidding process for a future All-Star game. The previous host, Atlanta Braves, said they are deeply disappointed with MLB's decision and continue to stress the importance of equal voting opportunity. The Tokyo Olympics are right around the corner, but we now know of one country that will not be participating: North Korea. According to the North Korea Sports Ministry, they reached a decision in order to protect athletes from COVID-19. The pandemic pushed back the Olympics a full year, but North Korea is the first country to say they still feel like it is too soon to return to competition. South Korean officials expressed disappointment as they hoped the Games would provide an opportunity to improve inter-Korean relations. Despite North Korea's announcement, the Japanese government continues to assure other countries that antivirus measures will be taken wherever possible. The Red Sox are off to a 2-3 start to the year, following an opening series sweep at the hands of the Baltimore Orioles. They're in the news now after unveiling a new set of alternate uniforms that will be worn over Patriots Day weekend. The uniforms are inspired by the Boston Marathon and are notably the first uniforms in Red Sox history without any red. Opinions on these are all over the place, so let us know down in the comments how you feel about this bold new look. What do you guys think over at the desk?
So Danielle, if I hear it's pretty controversial, there's not any red in the uniforms. I do like that it's gold and blue for the Boston Marathon. I think that's a nice little tribute.
Yeah, honestly, I like them, but I do get why a diehard Red Sox fan would be a little upset about the lack of red.
At the end of the day, it's out of our control. And go Yankees.
I don't think you should have said that, I'll be honest with you.
And anyway, the Red Sox aren't the only athletes that have their work cut out for them this week.
Our entertainment correspondent, Carly Bronkema, has more on the newest guest judge of this game show and some new music you can listen to this week. Carly?
Thanks, guys. Two former Disney divas are topping the charts this week. Met him last night, Demi Lovato's new collab with Ariana Grande was released on Friday. Both women are managed by Scooter Braun and are a match made in heaven, according to Twitter. The song is a part of Demi's 7th studio album titled Dancing with the Devil, The Art of Starting Over. Demi announced the drop on Twitter, saying, "This has been a journey years in the making. I can't believe it's here." The album also includes a feature by Noah Cyrus. Another big name in sports is making headlines this week. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is set to host Jeopardy for the rest of the week. His first show was on Monday, and his run will continue through the end of next week. Rodgers appeared on Celebrity Jeopardy in 2015 and won against former astronaut Mark Kelly and Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary. Rodgers had told several news outlets that he spent hours watching the show and taking notes so that he could do justice to his hero, Alex Trebek. Awards season continues. The SAG Awards took place on Sunday night, and there were some TV shows that won big. Schitt's Creek took home the award for Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble, and Catherine O'Hara won Outstanding Performance by an Actress. The Mandalorian, a newcomer to the award show season, won Outstanding Action Performance by a Stunt Ensemble. In the motion picture category, both Viola Davis and the late Chadwick Boseman won Outstanding Performance by a female and male actor for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Bridgerton fans suffered a tragedy this weekend. Regé-Jean Page, who left his mark in the show as the mysterious Duke of Hastings, will not return for the second season. The announcement was published on the show's social media through a letter by Lady Whistledown. She wrote, "We'll miss Simon's presence on screen, but he will always be part of the Bridgerton family. Don't worry too much because Paige recently finished filming a Netflix spy thriller titled The Gray Man, which also stars Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans." With that happy ending, let's go back to Amog and Danielle at the desk.
Thanks, Carly. Danielle, I think I might tune in to see Jeopardy and see Aaron Rodgers host. I think that's really funny.
I think it's kind of an obscure choice, but it could be interesting. We'll watch for sure.
We'll see. This week, one rapper reached the top of the charts and caused some commotion with his new devilish kicks.
In this week's edition of What's Trending, Adelaide Willer is telling us all about the music video that has everyone talking.
Rapper Lil Nas X is back in the spotlight, but not without controversy. Following the premiere of his latest music video for his song Montero and his new marketing campaign featuring Satan shoes, the 21-year-old is on his way to his second #1 single, and social media has played a large role. When the song was first released, Lil Nas X posted a letter to his younger self, setting the tone for the discourse going forward and addressing what was apparent. Montero was deeply personal, provocative, and political all at once, and he envisions the song holding significance within the LGBTQ+ community.
You are seeing like a queer black man showing his sexuality through this music video, like very unashamedly, and like really embracing who he is, especially through means of like religious imagery, which is what usually rejects queer people. So I think it's really important in that sense.
I think that it's an important sort of milestone in kind of a queerness and gender play in popular music.
I'm really proud of him, and I really hope that this brings like way more change to the way that society works now.
Alongside the release of the video, Lil Nas X has spent the past few days sharing memes about his newest single and promoting his new Satan shoes, a pair of modified Nike Air Max 97s that display a pentagram and contain a drop of human blood. This caused Nike to file a trademark lawsuit and a motion for a temporary restraining order against the shoe company earlier this week.
Like, the reality is that it's a press stunt like any other, and I don't think it's fully seen how it is going to play out in the long run yet.
Despite the controversy, Montero has reached listeners all over the globe with over 45 million streams on Spotify. For Good Morning Emerson, I'm Adelaide Willert. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Adelaide. Today we are joined by our musical guest, Wolf.
Thank you so much for coming on this morning, Wolf.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
So, what initially inspired you to start songwriting and creating music?
So, when I was in high school, that's really when I started writing. I grew up a very, very shy kid. I ate lunch alone, that kind of vibe. And I would always eat in the music room because I just didn't have the guts to do it in the cafeteria. And that's where my music teacher was. And even though I was extremely shy, like I still loved performing. But for my senior showcase, my teacher basically said, you know, if I want to participate, it has to be an original song. And immediately I was mortified, embarrassed. Like when you're a shy kid, you just feel like no one cares about what you have to say. But whatever, like I wanted to perform. So I went home, wrote the song, and it just became a very obvious way for me to communicate with people while still being able to keep distance, you know? So then I just kept writing, like I didn't stop after that.
Your stage name is Wolf. What inspired that?
Yeah, so my real name is Julia, my stage name is Wolf. That has to do with my sister. So I have a younger sister, she's 22. And growing up, she had this imaginary pet wolf, which was like really weird already for an imaginary pet. And at night, she would always say goodnight to me and then goodnight to the wolf. And even to this day, however many years later, we keep that routine up just out of habit. And so when I was thinking of a name, I was like trying to think of something that had a little meaning as well. And my sister is my whole world. So yeah, I picked that.
So I was looking, me and Danielle were both stalking you. And you were like popping on social media.
Thank
you.
You
know, how has that helped you so far, and how do you get your music out there with your presence?
Yeah, you know, it took me a really long time to get comfortable speaking to people via social media as you would a friend. Like it was just hard for me to talk in general, but I had to make a decision. I figured social media is an amazing way to connect with a whole new audience that I wouldn't, you know, when I'm just playing gigs around here. And yeah, I just decided like, I'm just gonna be myself. I don't care what other people think. And I just started talking and doing like these Sunday confession things and just posting like freestyles, just posting whatever, you know, anything music related, anything personality.
So do you have any new songs or projects in the works?
Oh my gosh, I have so many, and I like just came back from LA. My thing is, I have a ton of music on the way, but I do believe in patience and like there's a bigger reward in waiting sometimes, I feel, even though I'm so tempted to just drop everything. Yeah, but I've got a ton on the way, and like definitely an album soon.
Wow, you're definitely playing your cards right, I think.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course, of course. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was awesome.
Awesome.
When we come back, Wolf is performing her newest song, Hydra.
Stay with us. Welcome back.
And now, to virtually perform her latest tune, Hydra, Wolf.
Clean the room in my underwear, keep the music loud. Sneak you in like you sneak Playboy in your house. When we get bored, go graffiti by the sound. Always knew that I would grow out of this town, about to claim the throne. Put this in the past, flying coast to coast. Fly to understand, it's virgin territory for us both. I'm about to break my only oath. Call me traitor if I make it out on my own, yeah. Cut me, I'll find the Hydra. I'll only come back too hard, yeah. This is for the best, you don't see it yet. This is for the best, what did you expect? Cut me, I'll find the Hydra. I'll only come back too hard, yeah. This is for the best, you could be upset. Put me to the test, what did you expect? This is for the best, you could be upset. Put me to the test, what did you expect? Throw my hair in a bun, show my face to the sun. I'm not who you thought I was, I left you without a cause and no warning. I got deadlines for me, I got flights in the morning. You can't hold me back from running. Claim the throne and put this in the past. Flying coast to coast, fly to understand. It's virgin territory for us both. I'm about to break my only oath. Call me traitor if I make it out on my own, yeah. Cut me, I'll find the Hydra. I'll only come back too hard, yeah. This is for the best, you don't see it yet. This is for the best, what did you expect? Cut me, I'll find the Hydra. I'll only come back too hard, yeah. This is for the best, you could be upset. Put me to the test, what did you expect? This is for the best, you could be upset. Put me to the test, what did you expect? Cut me, I'll find the Hydra. I'll only come back too hard, yeah. This is for the best, you could be upset. Put me to the test, what did you expect?
That song was a straight up banger, and those graphics were insane.
They were insane, and we can see you dancing to it a little bit on Instagram.
Yeah, check out some behind the scenes content. Me and our sound guy, John, we're really showing each other some love with the dancing. You can stream Hydra by Wolf anywhere you get your music. Now, Danielle, I don't know about you, but the weather is getting warmer, and I'm getting ready for a hot girl summer.
Good morning, Emerson's Ella Ward checked out an organic cafe with lots of healthy options for this week's edition of Boylston Bites.
Hello everybody, this is Ella for Boylston Bites. Today we're here at Life Alive, which is a little health food restaurant, and I got myself a little acai smoothie bowl, so very excited to try it. Can't wait to bring you guys along with me. So I personally like to mix up my bowls, get a beautiful bite with everything. So first we're gonna do a little mix up. So let's get a little bit of the strawberry, a little bit of the granola, blueberries, some pomegranate seeds, and let's take our first bite. Nice and cold, beautiful for this spring day. Good amount of crunch from the granola, and then a little bit of sweetness from the berry as well. It's really great. I love it. Yum. The coconut comes in. I really like the granola in it. You get that beautiful crunch. The berries are frozen, which I think is a nice touch. Well, that's it for me here at Life Alive at the corner of Boylston and Berkeley. I'm Ella Ward for Boylston Bites. If you guys make your way over here, be sure to let us know on social media with #Boylston Bites.
Ella has the best job on this show, hands down.
She definitely does, and I've actually been to the cafe that she was at, and it's amazing. So.
Yep. Anyway, so that's all the time we have. Make sure to put your thoughts on the new Red Sox uniform in the comments, and make sure if you head to the restaurant Ella went to, make sure you use that hashtag. I'm Amog Matthews.
And I'm Danielle Finezza. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.